know thyself. To be is to do. Be as you wish to seem. To find yourself, think for yourself. Thou shouldst eat to live, not live to eat. All I know is that I do not know anything. Understanding a question is half an answer. The unexamined life is not worth living. The hottest love has the coldest end. Wonder is the beginning of wisdom. Beware the barrenness of a busy life. Those who are hardest to love need it the most. I only know that I know nothing. Every action has its pleasures and its price. To move the world we must move ourselves. To know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. Not life, but good life, is to be chiefly valued. From the deepest desires often come the deadliest hate. I know that I am intelligent, because I know that I know nothing. The mind is everything, what you think you become. Living well and beautifully and justly are all one thing. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. There is only one good, knowledge, and one evil, ignorance. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Let him who would move the world first move himself. Contentment is natural wealth, luxury is artificial poverty. Death may be the greatest of all human blessings. The only good is knowledge, and the only evil is ignorance. Do not do to others what angers you if done to you by others. I am not an Athenian or a Greek, but a citizen of the world. We cannot live better than in seeking to become better. Once made equal to man, woman becomes his superior. The beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms. I pray thee, O God, that I may be beautiful within. Prefer knowledge to wealth, for the one is transitory, the other perpetual. Be slow to fall into friendship, but when you are in, continue firm and constant. The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be. Strong minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, weak minds discuss people. Life contains but two tragedies. One is not to get your heart's desire, the other is to get it. Be nicer than necessary to everyone you meet. Everyone is fighting some kind of battle. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. By all means marry. If you get a good wife, you'll become happy. If you get a bad one, you'll become a philosopher. Children nowadays are tyrants. They contradict their parents, gobble their food, and tyrannize their teachers. Be of good cheer about death, and know this of a truth, that no evil can happen to a good man either in life or after death. Think not those faithful who praise all thy words and actions, but those who kindly reprove thy faults. He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. In all of us, even in good men, there is a lawless wild beast nature which peers out in sleep. Sometimes you put walls up not to keep people out, but to see who cares enough to break them down. The easiest and noblest way is not to be crushing others, but to be improving yourselves. The secret of happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less. True wisdom comes to each of us when we realize how little we understand about life, ourselves, and the world around us. My friend, care for your psyche, know thyself, for once we know ourselves, we may learn how to care for ourselves. If you want to be a good saddler, saddle the worst horse, for if you can tame one, you can tame all. Employ your time in improving yourself by other men's writings so that you shall come easily by what others have labored hard for. The hour of departure has arrived, and we go our separate ways, I to die, and you to live. Which of these two is better only God knows. One should never do wrong in return, nor mistreat any man, no matter how one has been mistreated by him. The really important thing is not to live, but to live well. And to live well meant, along with more enjoyable things in life, to live according to your principles. If all our misfortunes were laid in one common heap whence everyone must take an equal portion, most people would be content to take their own and depart. No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. The children now love luxury, they have bad manners, contempt for authority, they show disrespect for elders and love chatter in place of exercise. Children are now tyrants, not the servants of their households. They no longer rise when elders enter the room. They contradict their parents, chatter before company, gobble up dainties at the table, cross their legs, and tyrannize their teachers. If you don't get what you want, you suffer. If you get what you don't want, you suffer. Even when you get exactly what you want, you still suffer because you can't hold on to it forever. Your mind is your predicament. It wants to be free of change, free of pain, free of the obligations of life and death. But change is law, and no amount of pretending will alter that reality. Regard your good name as the richest jewel you can possibly be possessed of, for credit is like fire. When once you have kindled it, you may easily preserve it, but if you once extinguish it, you will find it an arduous task to rekindle it again. The way to a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. To fear death, gentlemen, is no other than to think oneself wise when one is not, to think one knows what one does not know. No one knows whether death may not be the greatest of all blessings for a man, yet men fear it as if they knew that it is the greatest of evils. If a man comes to the door of poetry untouched by the madness of the muses, believing that technique alone will make him a good poet, he and his sane compositions never reach perfection, but are utterly eclipsed by the performances of the inspired madman. He is richest who is content with the least, for content is the wealth of nature.